All right, so if you have these Wave Tools therapy cups, you can find a link below in the description if you don't have them, but these are really nice for working on yourself. They're made out of a really flexible material. They're easy to clean with just some soap and water, and really easy to use on yourself or helping somebody else out. There are other cups out there that I find a little more difficult to use, just treating myself. Let's talk about some things that you need to know before you get started with this. First of all, places that we want to be cautious with. Areas like the front side of our neck here, front kind of groin area and front of thigh. And then anywhere where if you're doing it and you get tingles and stuff down the arm, those are all areas where we have lots of nerves, blood vessels, stuff that we don't really want to mess with. Particularly up in this neck area, we have some things that can actually affect blood pressure as well. So again, we don't want to mess with that. Make sure that if this is something you're using, you're getting some guidance from somebody as far as what areas are safe or what areas you should be working on. The other thing with these is we want to be careful not to sort of leave it and forget it. It can create some pretty nasty looking bruises and stuff, which aren't necessarily a good thing either. I know some people don't mind having them, but it's also not great for the tissues if we're getting that amount of bruising with it. So I usually recommend moving locations every minute or so. You can always go back to a spot if it feels like it needs it, but we don't want to just hang out on one spot either. With different cups, you have some different options. There are some that are really nice to use with some lotion and actually use it more as like a massage tool once you get the suction on. These ones I find are easier to use when you introduce movement into it. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's say that this is the area that's feeling really tight in the front of my forearm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some slack on that tissue. If I were to straighten my wrist and straighten my elbow, it's putting all of that on tension. So I'm gonna go the opposite, kind of curling everything up. I'm going to place that cup. If I just do light pressure, it's going to have light suction. If I press down pretty hard, it's going to be moderate. And then I'll show you a way to get even more pressure on it if that's what you're looking for. But you're gonna find the spot you wanna work on, press down and get that air out of there. And then once you have a good suction on there, you can move a joint that's nearby. So moving the wrist in this example, or straightening my elbow, or to get even more, if I do both at the same time, that's going to be my most intense version of this. But this is sort of massaging from the inside because of the movement. We're not having to move this outer piece. To remove, you just kind of squeeze, break the seal, and you're able to get it off. If you want that stronger pressure, you want to turn this thing inside out, then place that button where you want to be, press on that outer rim here to get it to pop back. And now that's quite a bit of suction on there. And then I just do the same thing. I can straighten a joint nearby. And with all of these, I'm only going to work again maybe a minute or so per area, and then move it periodically, move back if you need to. And I recommend starting with just a few minutes, maybe like 5 minutes at first, see how it feels, and then build up from there. This is something where really in a given area, you know, say I was working around my shoulder, for example, I wouldn't want to spend more than maybe about 15 minutes in that area before giving it a break and then maybe trying it again later. So hopefully that helps you learn how to use these Wave Tool therapy cups.